What were we talking about?
You were telling a nice story about
my grandmother.
Your grandmother.
And you're like, remember David get up, put his foot in it? Like, yeah. Tell me about your shirt. I like it.
Yeah, this one is just this one guy who releases like a whole bunch of music under a bunch of different projects.
Oh,
and
cool.
Each one is, he might also be kind of a piece of shit. There was some weird Twitter drama, and then I was like, I don't know how to make sense of this. But I've already bought this guy's music, so I guess I can continue to listen to it. He's not making any money off my Bandcamp download. He probably released it for free anyway. So
that is such a experience nowadays. It's like, I like this art, and they're like, they're a piece of shit. All right, never mind, I guess.
Hopefully, yeah. Bands to listen to that aren't pieces of shit. Like, I bet everyone will get like 4 or 5 that match their personal value system.
Yeah, and then the rest, it's like, nope, that guy kicked a squirrel.
That seems like one of the tamest possible.
That guy did a live pinata. He beat an animal. He beat an animal out.
Oh, there was some athlete who shared a Twitter video of a cat that fell off a building and very clearly died, and it was just something like LMA oh fuck, this cat fucking died, or it was just something haha, this is so, yeah, it was just a caption that was yo, this is so funny. And then a bunch of people were like, that's an animal snuff film.
That's such a funny thing to get in hot water for.
Yeah.
Commenting on internet stuff is just so optional. No one needs you to do it, and it does nothing, and yet so many people do it. So when a famous person stubs their toe because they just had to be like, that's crazy.
Yeah, you could just... The problem is you're treating Twitter like it's some guy next to you on the couch.
Yeah.
And instead it's everyone in existence.
Dude, a while ago when Samuel L. Jackson was liking porn tweets? Do you remember when that happened?
But you'd have to be more specific because this is so many.
Has it happened over a long stretch of time? He's still doing it?
Oh, is Samuel L. Jackson still doing it? I don't know. Hopefully.
Because that specific thing was so funny to me. Because everyone's giving him shit. Oh, you old pervert. He's like, first of all, he's smashing that motherfucking like and subscribe. He's supporting young creators.
That's right.
You just watch it in the shadows and move on, and you give them nothing. He's like... That's huge for them. Samuel L. Jackson liked my post?
Yeah.
Oh my God. My career is on the up, you know?
And then the opposite of it is Ted Cruz liking the...
slithering in.
Home wrecker, or was it both incest and home wrecking, or was it just one?
Dude, the other day we were talking about there should have been a Pornhub rap, like your Spotify rap. Just said you watched 4,000 hours of MILF combat.
MILF combat. See, that's the problem, is a lot of people like it, and it's I like my sex to be warm and gentle. I want those MILFs to be communal, you know?
Lavender bath, just kisses. 5 minutes tops. We were talking about the Antichrist and the mark of the beast. You just coughed this.
I just coughed so hard that I spilled my tea.
You good? You need a little towel or something? Okay.
I don't know what the towel's going to do at this point.
It's a good time to mention I can edit anything out.
Are you sure? The content's so good.
That's honestly...
Everyone loves something. People love hearing a moment of silence and then someone just explaining what's happening. I love watching movies that are just a close-up of someone's face and they're going, oh, fuck, that's so cool. God damn, look at that.
So tell me about do you have a religious background? What's the context?
Yeah, my dad was a good Irish Catholic boy in Western Pennsylvania. So he basically brought, no, you know what, I was about to say, and of course he grew up and was very devout Catholic, but honestly he was one of 7, and I think he's the only one who really seemed to care at all after he became an adult. So no, I guess my dad is an unusually devout bringer of their family heritage. But anyway, all that means is that, I went to Mass.
Catholic style, finally. Because I keep having all these guests, and it's all these evangelicals, which is stuff that I'm more familiar with. That's more of my background. So Catholic's always fascinated me, because it's just it's such a different brand of how it's more of I don't know, community of like, it's your whole school and everything, but it's also not as heavily like, this is what we all believe and here's the specifics of what we believe. It's just sort of like, you're generally sort of Catholic. You're in a, yeah. And that always fascinated me because like, I know a lot of people like, yeah, I went to Catholic school, but we didn't have to do like much like church stuff. And I'm like, there's no guitars? Like, what happens there? Did you go to like Catholic school too?
No, I would say that was like the one obvious difference between like all of the parents at the church that I went to, Resurrection Parish.
Shout out.
Shout
Not
out.
a sponsor, but they could be.
Yeah.
Imagine that would all the viewers would be like, wait, I thought this was a drug and bits podcast, but I think they were sponsored by a church. Is this church content?
That's literally all the Tradcats like worst nightmare. They're like, Pope Francis has sponsored the Jokes and Weed podcast.
He's exactly what we feared, dude. He's down to blaze. I thought some of those tweets were too chill. We fucked up. You can't have the Pope be chill. He's the king of the most conservative group, pretty much.
That's why he gets to come out. He seems like he's chill, and then he'll come out and he's throwing heaters. He's like, trans people are nuclear weapons, or he's like, don't get it twisted, y'all.
Damn.
Like, I didn't get where I am without knowing how to throw a few. Through 3-digit fastballs down the center of the ecumenical plate.
Okay, so no Catholic school, but did you go to? You said you went to mass some. How often?
I mean, at least once a week.
Yeah.
And then on the big holidays, which I guess was really just Christmas and Easter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it does. I'm guessing you went to Catholic school.
No, tiny non-denominational Christian school.
Okay.
Yeah, we had like my graduating class was like 22 kids, but it's just like a bunch of kids that went to like similar kind of churches.
That's to me the exact. If you told me it's a non-denominational school, I'm like, oh, so you went to like Texas A&M campus, like
no, tiny.
That's got to be because I had a friend who went to like his graduating class was 7, and that was the most young Earth creationist, Southern Baptist, evangelical type of upbringing. And it's like. Yeah, because if you were someone like that living in northern Delaware, there wasn't a lot of places for people like you. So
yeah, it was wild too because like all the schools like in our conference were like, you just get little glimpses of like how much more extreme they were.
Yeah,
because we were like that kind of thing, but it was like in the front of our. I remember I looked back, I found one of my old like planners when I was in like 4th grade or something.
Yeah, and
one of the like in the first pages is like. Some topics we just kind of don't teach on, and we leave it up to the parents to decide. And it's like 7-day creation. Like we're not even going to touch it because I know some people are like, it says 7, and then other people are like,
yeah. It also says he has to do it again. he creates the heaven and the earth twice in Genesis. They can't get 5 paragraphs before they're like remember they already forgot.
Oh, and dude, BT Dubs. So I'll take it from the top.
Yeah, they were doing it. They were like, "Hey guys, this will be. You guys ever play Exquisite Corpse? So we're gonna play. I'm both inventing Exquisite Corpse and also we're gonna do that. Each of us take like a thing that God did right at the top. They didn't talk about it. Second guy misunderstood. He kind of glimpsed the first kind of creation and was like." All right, no, I really had one, and I had one locked and loaded.
Yeah, he's like, well, I was going to do mine. It's got kind of a different tone. He's like, I think my script worked a little bit better.
Yeah.
Dude, what is Mass like? I don't think I've ever been to a Mass. How long is it?
Well, it depends.
Like a normal one, not a holiday.
Yeah, a normal one is like somewhere between like 60 and 90 minutes, like the total programming. So there's like, there's very specific like, liturgy, religious. I'm being a bad Catholic now because I'm forgetting.
I don't mean to drill you. I don't care if you know.
There's a whole bunch. Pope Francis, he's fucking lighting up a big doobie right now, and he's listening, and he's going, "Let's check in."
He has his own like somehow celebrities have their own strains of weed, like Snoop or whatever. Pope Francis it's Dope Francis, obviously.
Dope Francis, right.
So what are you doing?
It's more like don't Benedict the 16th, you know?
Yo, let me hit the Benedict XV. Oh man. So like, let's take me back to you specifically in Mass. You're like in high school. What are you doing? You sitting in the back? You looking at shit? You just getting through it?
Yeah, it was. Well, in high school, I was not going, by that point, not as often.
Nice.
So I probably got confirmed, had like one last rush of like religious exuberance of like, because I was with like 5 other high schoolers on some like scenic beach locale somewhere. And they were like, what makes Catholics different is community. Mm-hmm. We're the only one that really cares about, everyone being together. Like, Catholic means universal.
Yeah,
and I buy it, and I'm
like that.
Yeah, and I'm like, damn, that's right. None of the other Christian denominations care about community. It's just the Catholics.
That's our brand.
And then I go home, and I'm like telling my mom, and she's raised Lutheran. She's like, what?
That's kind of most of what all of them do.
That's kind of the whole deal of almost every religion. Being like, it'd be cool if we're together. So at that point, I was probably sitting. I never like to sit in the front row. So,
yeah.
And if I'm in church at that point, I'm probably in the back. I slipped in, and I said, "Okay, great." The downside of that is that it does mean that everyone is watching you specifically get communion.
Because they're all back at their seats by the time
Because they're all
you go?
back at their seats, exactly.
Yeah.
So you don't even get the nice, like some people are up there not paying attention, or they're working their way through the line. But when I was young, I think we usually sat, probably not like very front row, but we were probably like 3 or 4 pews back.
Okay.
I think that was probably important to my dad to be like, hey, we showed up, we represented.
Yeah.
I got all 4 of my kids here.
Yeah, where are yours, Cheryl? Ron, you having a little trouble?
Honestly, it's really sad what happened to Cheryl's kids, and it's not funny.
Damn, I guess their name too.
It's tough to joke about. But I was such a socially anxious kid that like as I've grown up and I've like occasionally been back at mass is like the sign of the peace is probably easily the highlight of the entire service. The sign of the peace is you literally just turn to everyone around you and you go,
say what's up.
And you say what's up. Honestly, I think that'd be a better use of your time. It's a little bit more efficient that everyone has to do the same call and response to each other.
Okay.
But I think it'd be nice to do like a little check-in. Like everyone gets to like, what's the last movie you saw? Oh, yeah? Like,
dude,
how's your son doing?
That was the cool thing about my church, because you'd be like, share a piece of Christ, and it would lead to a little bit of chatter. It was like a chatter runoff. So you could be like, and how's your mom, real quick, like that kind of thing. Because honestly, people want to get out of their system. They just came in the morning, they're taking coats off, and they're touching base with all the people they touch base with.
Yes.
And then it's like, oh, piano starts getting plunked out. It's like, we got to go sit down.
Right.
And then you sing a little bit, but then you're like, oh my God, I didn't say hi to, Tammy. She's right there. And so then that gives it sort of, most people do say, peace Christ, peace Christ. Especially like dudes that don't want to say anything. It's like, peace Christ, peace Christ.
Well, that's wild. That's even, it's so funny to have made the actual conversation or like repetition thing back and forth that much more efficient. Like I was like, oh, the Catholics, it's so efficient. You just say, peace be with you. And then when I was growing up, and also with you, and now it's...
See, I think that is more efficient though. It was more fun the way we did it, but a lot of times our pastor at the end could be like, all right.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean is that the irony here is that the Catholic one then is longer than just Peace Christ, which is like, which is someone being like telegram style, like I'm getting charged by the letter.
It's like pizza crust.
Yeah, pizza crust. I was about to say it sounds more like piss Christ. Just going around. Catholic Church got so mad at piss Christ, and then here you guys are just turning to each other going, piss Christ, piss Christ.
Let's do a scene that's just like, just 2 people saying in that little moment of like, the pastor's going like, and now, before we get in there, some of our worship songs, we're going to exchange a piece of Christ. We're going to go ahead and just, say hello to everyone around you. And so, we'll be right back. Hey, what's up, man? Hey, how's it going?
Hey,
peace of Christ.
Hey, peace of Christ.
How's she doing?
Oh my God, thanks. It's been such a wild ride. Yeah, she's getting big. Like you can really see.
No way.
Yeah, I mean, she was sick this morning, like, so she's not here. But like,
oh sure,
But like, it's like I don't know. It's cool. Like,
yeah, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna be a dad. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Because we were like, I feel like wasn't that long ago we were. Oh shit! They're starting a song. I feel like wasn't long ago we were on the swings. Remember the time we were on the swings out there? Oh, shit.
No, who gives a fuck?
Wait, we can cuss now?
What? I don't know.
You can cuss, dude. Fuck yeah. Because sometimes, like, I'm fired up for the Lord. I want to say fuck yeah. I think that was more like, than like heck yeah or whatever. Yeah. And people get mad at me. I'm like, fuck yeah. Sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. I had kids. Actually, good point. Actually, there's a lot of kids.
Well, that's the beauty of it. Isn't honestly, I do that on purpose. I try to.
You cuss around kids?
Yeah, well, I cuss around kids young enough not to repeat it, because that's the thing, right? Is you got to like that's the one thing that I'm sure I'm going to get right as a dad is I'm going to know exactly how long I can say shit and piss and fuck or whatever
before it imprints.
I feel
like it's pretty early.
You'd be surprised.
It's gonna be their first word.
You'd be surprised. It depends how you use it. The trick is never to put emphasis on it, because what they're picking up is not the word. The word doesn't mean anything.
Oh,
it's how you say it's the reaction it gets. Do you
think you could teach a kid to cuss a word as though it's a cuss and it's not a cuss? Like, you know what I mean? Like okay, a little kid, he goes to elementary school, it's like 3rd grade, and he drops something, and he's like, Cuber, and they're like, what do you say? And he's like, it's a cuss, and his dad is just like, ha, ha, ha. No, it's not. I just said it with emphasis, and you latched onto it, dummy. Folks, it's Holy Smokes, where we smoke weed and tell Bible stories. I'm your host, Scoochie Boochie. Matt Roarty's here. Seamless. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm great, man. Thanks for doing it.
Yeah, of course.
Let's get it going. We're going to see who's going to tell a story first. We're casting lots. I rolled a 3.
Okay, great. And I rolled a 4.
All right. I'll light the story lamp because it's story time, bitch.
This die has a line under the 6 so that you don't think that it's a 9, but it's a 6-sided die.
Honestly, I need that line a lot of times. I'm like, what? Might be a 9. I mean, look, you can make any numbers you want on the sides.
Hey, you gotta be honest with me. Have you ever actually thought that, or did you just say that because you're riffing?
Certainly, for a split second. I'm so bad with numbers, analog clocks. I'm like, time out.
Okay, I wanted to check in and just be sure. I was like, I don't want to get off. Have the wrong idea about you.
It's kind of nice. The other episode, Brad did a description of this lamp for anyone who's audio only and isn't seeing this. Would you mind describing this die to the listener?
Yeah, this is like probably half an inch, like 3/4 inch die face. It's like a blue that kind of like reflects a little bit in the light, and you can see that like parts of it are slightly differently shaded, like a rock face or something like that. And then it's got like a silver inlay that's like, right in the middle of the die, kind of like clean fontage. And on the face I'm on, it's got a 6, and it's got like a little line. It's exactly the width. Because if you turn it upside down, now it just looks like an accented 9. So if I start to turn it, is it up or down? I guess I'm doing it down.
There's no...
The top
What do you call clockwise when it's coming at you?
When it's coming at you.
Z-axis clockwise is just like, what, the gear?
Yeah, this is... Is this what yaw is?
Anytime I see yaw in a video game, I'm like, fuck you. I can't play this shit.
I do that. I do IT work, and every once in a while, I'll be helping someone who has an inverted like keyboard access, or mouse access, and I'm like, "What are you gaming all day?"
You in Flicks?
I close that office door, and you're back on.
All right, John Boys, where we're dropping. He's in sick Flicks. He's scrolling weapon wheels, dude.
That's and they're going through budget cuts, so people won't have their high-end gaming rigs. I did have someone who like followed up, and they're like, "Oh, I'm interested in getting a laptop." I was like, "Oh, are there any special?" Because I like to ask, like, "Oh, is there anything you'd be doing out of the ordinary, like any special like research needs, like you're running some sort of software that's really high end?"
Okay.
And this person was like, "No, just like basic stuff, like, and I'll play like, and I'll." Browse social media and play one video game. And so, like, I follow up.
Oh, good, only one.
And I'll play
it's
just
like
one
Counter-Strike 2. He's just like...
Yeah, I'm like, the number of video games you play on your work laptop is immaterial to me.
If it's any, that's too many, first of all. It's a big fuck you to everyone who doesn't have a cubicle or like a room. Right. Cubicles sound great in retrospect, dude. Like, everyone's like, oh, a cubicle's all gray and bad. But then you be in an office, like I used to be in, where it's just a row of people as far as the eye can see.
Yeah.
And everyone's on the phone, and can't stand the person on the phone next to them.
Well, because what they're really mad at is not the cubicle per se. They're mad at not having the exact correct amount of distance to other people.
Mm-hmm. stuff. You got to make a whole. Which Bible would you like? Precious Moments Bible or Women's Bible too?
I already was looking a little bit at Women's Bible too, so I'll take Precious Moments Bible.
And you rolled higher, so.
Ooh, it's soft.
What story are we doing today?
Oh my God, we're doing Ruth, Book of Ruth.
Oh yeah.
How's it going? Hope you're enjoying the show so far. If you like Holy Smokes with Scoochie Boochie, hit like, hit subscribe, drop a comment, a review. All those free things help us out a lot. This part of the episode is for sale. If you want me to do an ad read, hit me up, holysmokespod@gmail.com. If you got a business, you got a show coming up you want to promote, maybe in Chicago, I can do that for you, and it is very affordable, holysmokespod@gmail.com. If you hate this part, where there's an ad, I got good news for you. We have ad-free full episodes on our Patreon, patreon.com/holysmokespod. At the Deacon tier, that's $5 a month. You get ad-free full episodes, a promo code for discounted Scoochie Boochie merch, including t-shirts and posters, and also monthly bonus videos you can't get anywhere else. They're only on the Patreon. This month, I had a conversation with my buddy Eric Tetherow about Christian rap, a genre we're both very familiar with. It is wild and hilarious. I highly recommend that. Don't want to miss it. It's on the Patreon. The highest level of our Patreon is called Disciple. There's only 12 slots, and for $12 a month, you get everything I just mentioned, plus, if you want, a cameo, up to 1 minute of me saying whatever you want, within reason. Thank you so much for supporting the show. We couldn't do it without you, although we are, so far. All right.
Let's see if we can find it. I'm guessing it must be after Judges.
Yeah, I don't
because
remember.
It starts with, in the time of Judges, so we're already doing... All right, here we go. Mm-hmm. It's literally exactly after Judges. Ruth begins in the time of the Judges.
Yes.
We've done a smash cut.
It's the time of the Judges.
What happened? Just, how does Judges end? So Judges ends, Judges 21:22. In those days, Israel wasn't ruled by a king, and everyone did what they thought was right. So is that the end? Do we see how the Judges end? Benjamin gets...
You know, if you keep pulling this thread, you go all the way back to Genesis. You're like, well, how did we get here? Well, how did we get here? That's why I had to start from the beginning.
I think you got
to just go forward.
No, I would always start at the end. And then the problem is, I'd have a teacher, I feel like I'm about to do like an old, 1910s, this...
Yeah, you're going the wrong way.
I'm looking back.
Is that what you'd read the end of a book and then just like, what happened before that? What happened before that? And read a book backwards? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, well, then I jumped ahead and I thought how funny it would be if I opened the book to the normal location and then immediately started going back. And so that flips the book over. And then I'm
going gear-wise,
I'm back in the back, yeah. I'm back in the back.
All right. Oh, you had it, and then you
and then I moved
you
away.
got rid of it.
Here we go. So we got Ruth. Okay, so at the end of Judges, Judges ends very helpfully. You've read 21 chapters about Judges, and then at the end, and they're like, and just to be clear, Israel didn't have a king.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so
in
that's
the time of the Judges, right? Great. So Judges ends, and then then we get back to Ruth.
Mm.
All right. You want me to just actually read this good word, or I'm doing the...
Have you read it before?
I read it on the way here.
Let's just get your recollection of it.
Great. Incredible.
Because accuracy is not the priority.
Mm-hmm.
And if you need me... And you also feel free to consult.
Well, you opened... Since we actually opened it up...
You're like, damn, I'm about to just crack open the good book. Yeah. It's been a minute. Whatever you prefer.
Yeah, we'll give it a try. We'll see how well I remember this. All right, so before Israel had kings, they were ruled by judges.
Yep.
Right? That's not really going to factor into the rest of this story.
Okay.
But it's good.
Already forgot
good knowledge,
Cool. I think we're a little stuck on Judges.
Yeah, I think when it'll be helpful is, and let me know anytime that you're like, why wouldn't the king just step in?
Okay, sure. That does help a lot.
Sort this shit out. It's because there wasn't a king.
Yeah.
This was in the time when Israel was ruled by judges.
Yeah.
Instead. So at this point, there was a famine. Already not off to a great start for the judges, right?
Tough.
Kings stay abundant, And so one guy who's Elimelech? I believe is how you pronounce his name. So Eli, it's good that we gave him 2 names because he dies almost instantly in this story. So there's this famine, and he's like, all right, I'm going to take my son and my other son and also my wife out to Moab, where we've heard there's not a famine. Mm-hmm. No one else in Israel thinks to do this, but Eli heads on out with his wife Naomi and his 2 sons, who also die very quickly.
Bummer.
So they get to Moab, and there are 2 women who are like, yeah, we'll marry these sons. They marry the sons, and then the father dies. Everyone's like, damn, okay. But Naomi's like, at least my sons are married, and that's nice.
Okay.
To Orpah and to Ruth.
Orpah,
not Oprah. I was really afraid I was going to say Oprah.
Orpah. That's very nice.
Yeah. Well, what's not nice is she's also going to...
High body count so far. They're dropping like flies.
Well, I guess we don't know for a fact that Orpah dies, but I can feel it in my bones.
You get a feeling.
Yeah.
I mean, she's definitely dead now.
Right.
For sure, by now. One way or another, Orpah's dead.
That's right. Or, she'll live forever.
Hell yeah. I can't wait to meet Orpah in that day.
Yeah.
I'll be like pushing aside like
our death is the day that we meet Orpah.
I'm pushing aside like Gandhi and my grandpa, and I'm just like, where's Orpah? I have so many questions.
There's a line, it's that meme where it's like 2 tables set up, and like there's a huge line like that goes around a bend, and it just says meet Orpah, and the other one has like Christ our Father.
So what was it like being hungry and then dying?
Yeah, and she's like, oh, I didn't experience that. I was in Moab the whole time.
That's a good point.
So then the Eli dies, and then the sons also die.
So who's not dead? Just Naomi and Ruth?
Naomi, Ruth, and then Oprah's not dead.
I knew you called it.
Because I said out loud that I was afraid that I would say Oprah.
And your mouth's like, cool, so we're saying Oprah tonight?
Yeah.
We can do that.
It's a better, me and Dave Letterman are incapable of stopping ourselves from saying Oprah. He did when he hosted like the Oscars or something, and he goes, oh, I've always wanted to do this. He goes up and he goes, and in the front is sitting Oprah Winfrey and Uma Thurman. And he goes, Oprah, meet Uma. Uma, Oprah. And then he walks away. And this is basically like the stand-up equivalent of that Far Side comic that says cow tools. Or like a cow.
Now you have to describe that piece of media for me to understand the word. Yeah. It just goes all the way down. And that Far Side cartoon is like this Catholic hymn we used to sing.
I'll see if I can thread that needle. I'll probably have to get off my camel and bend all the way down.
I think you lean into the mic just to make sure you would get it. Yeah. This is a good one. This one's going into the can.
And then, so the Far Side, but we gotta explain. So the Far Side comic is Gary Larson. He does all these single panel cartoons. Mm-hmm. And so this one, it said cow tools, and it showed a cow standing on 2 legs with a barn in the back. And then in front is like a table set up that has like 4 or 5 objects. And one of them kind of looks like a club. And then as you go through, you're like, what is this? And Gary Larson apparently got so many letters of people being like, what is this? Like, I don't understand. Like, so I've been talking about this with my wife, and we think we figured out 3 of the tools, but we can't figure out this last
So is it just a cow looking at assortment of tools? And there's no joke? Like, that's the whole joke?
So I had a Far Side anthology when I was younger, and he would write an introduction to them. And in the one that had that panel, he like wrote about like what he was up to. And he was like, oh, I just thought it was funny when you saw like anthropologists or paleontologists like in front of something, and it would be like, oh, and here are like the Mayan tools or whatever, here's whatever. And so it's just like, oh, it'd be funny if a cow had tools and they were being presented like that. He was like, my audience of 150 million newspaper subscribers.
It's like cow tools.
Syndication. They'll all get this. they'll all really appreciate.
And in the same way, I think I got it. David Letterman was like, everyone's gonna love this little gag, and everyone went, "What?"
Yeah, I don't even know if he thought that everyone would love it. I think it was just like, I'm doing it.
Yeah. All right. Who's alive? Naomi and Ruth.
Yeah.
Who's alive?
Orpa's
at large.
Orpa's about to go on the run. So Naomi is like, oh, damn. Like, all of my family is dead. Naomi's just like, listen, girls, thank you so much. You were both very kind to marry my two dipshit garbage sons.
Who were clearly on the way to dying like we all were.
They were.
It was a bad investment. We both knew it. Yeah. Thank you for that.
We've moved countries just to instantly die.
Yeah.
So apologies for that. But anyway, you can go back to like your families. I'm going to go back to Judah. And I'm going to
I'm probably going to head out. Yeah. I don't really know you guys.
At this point she did hear that the Lord has blessed Judah with bread again. So she's like, okay, the famine's over. Yeah. I'll come back. And then the daughters are like, oh, like, no. Oh, Mom, no. Right. Well, oh, Mom, we wouldn't do that. And like, this is the game that you have to play when your Moabite daughter-in-laws, you know, or like, they're like, oh, no, of course, Mom, of course we want to stay. Yeah. She's like, no, it's really chill. Thank you so much. Like, go back to your families. Yeah. And then Orpa's like, great. You don't have to tell me twice.
For sure.
I'm on the way out.
You go where you were from. I'll stay where I'm from.
Yeah. This makes sense. Yeah. I can continue to have a life. And Ruth is like, babe, we're endgame. Yeah. I'm never leaving you. Yeah. You know, you're not just my mother-in-law. Like, you're my mama.
So Ruth's a Moab gal?
So Ruth is a Moab gal. Okay. And so is Orpa, but she's gone.
She's at large.
And she does not factor back into this story. We can only assume that either failing to be under Naomi's protection, she instantly died, or getting away from Naomi, maybe the most cursed person who's ever lived.
You definitely don't want to. That's not a pontoon boat you want to swim onto. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's already going down. She's at the funeral. She knows all the staff at the funeral home. She's like, Curtis, how you doing? He's like, good to see you. I mean, not good. You probably shouldn't say good to see you again if you work at a funeral home and you see somebody you recognize. It's like, glad to have your business once again. Like, can you not say that right now, dude?
Well, that's the problem is you walk into the funeral home and they always offer you the bundle package. And you're like, I can't be, even if I think that that's a prudent investment, I can't be the type of person who buys the bundle package. Yeah.
You know? So Ruth's like, we're in it together.
Ruth's like, Mama, I'm gonna stay with you. Like, she says like, where you die, that's where I'm gonna die. Like, she's really in. So she's like, great, we'll go back. And so they go back to Bethlehem, and the townspeople are like, is that Naomi? And Naomi goes, don't call me Naomi. So Naomi means like pleasant or sweet or something like that. Okay. She's like, don't call my ass Naomi. Mm-hmm. Call me Mara.
What does that mean?
Because that means bitter. Which is tough luck for the Mara family.
Dude, her name was like something like sugar, like candy.
Yeah.
And she came back here, my name is Spikes.
Yeah.
My name's lower back pain.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah. She's like, hey, y'all, I'm Candy. Now she's like, black coffee.
And yeah, so she's like, call me Mara, because the Lord took everything. He killed my husband, killed my boys. I'm screwed.
Orpa left me.
Yeah, Orpa
has abandoned me.
And I like told her twice, like she doesn't have to stay, but like Ruth heard that too, and Ruth stayed.
I told Orpa she could forsake me, and she did immediately. Yeah. She's like, okay, you could have been like, no, at least once.
Yeah. So then the next day, or a lot longer later, Ruth wakes up and is like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go out into all the fields where everyone has already like harvested the grain. Mm-hmm. And I'm just going to basically see if they like missed anything. Mm-hmm. So she goes out in the field, and it turns out that Eli, her father-in-law, had a kinsman who lives in the area. Mm-hmm. And he happens to own one of these big fields. So Ruth is in there, and then his name is Boaz. And then Boaz?
I think it's Boaz.
Boaz? So then...
We never know. Why would we know? We're white guys in America in the 2000s, right?
I mean, I must have heard this in mass enough times.
We're just like Bahamalek. I don't know. Yeah. Felt right. Why would I know? I don't know.
Yeah. So we got Boaz, and he comes back from wherever he's been, and he asks his men first thing. He's like, "Who's this? Who's this in the field?" And
they're who's all the baddie chaffing in lane 5?
Yeah. Who's the... Yeah.
Honestly, that was very nice of you. You thought about it, you're like, no, I'm just gonna enjoy the one he said. I don't think I want to do a different one. That's very nice.
No reason. Really feel that centering, that comes with allowing joy to wash over you and also form a density within you,
Yeah,
full make any sense style. To that, really?
My grandma used to say it's good to have one belly laugh every night. That's my goal. One time, shout out, rest in peace. That's a weird combo to say those two. I think I said rest in peace because that's more appropriate than shout out to my late grandma. But
sorry to interrupt what I'm sure is going to be a very sweet story about your nice grandma. Have you seen that clip of David Guetta when he's like, he's doing a DJ set somewhere?
Dedicates it to some tragedy before it dropped,
right? To George Floyd.
Oh, yeah.
He says this one goes out to George Floyd. And he says, shout out to his family. And then he does some sort of EDM, club dubstep sort of drop to Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech.
What were we talking about?
You were telling a nice story about
my grandmother.
Your grandmother.
And you're like, remember David Guetta put his foot in it? Like, yeah. It was just, we're just like, when they get older, the filter comes off, which is fun. So my grandma was very proper, pastor's wife, never said anything, saucy or whatever. But then she was talking about her cat. She had a huge cat, and she's like, I like it. It's more to pet. Maybe that's why some guys like bigger women. And we were like, ah! And she did a little, it's I talked about how sometimes women be thick, and everyone was like, ah, man. It's great.
Well, it sounded more specifically like it was a fat pussy joke. I think you're not giving your grandma enough credit. I think that she's...
So, I think what we should do, since Ruth is it's a meaty story with a lot on it, you want to just take a break now and then just either we do more Ruth for the second half of the show, or I just have you back on in the future and you do more Ruth. Because we got a lot of good shit, but we haven't got through much Ruth at all.
Yeah, there's four chapters. We maybe have finished one.
Yeah. So I think getting through a chapter is actually not bad. Because you know what happens every time is I read it sober and I'm like, I don't even know. Maybe there's 2 funny things in here. And then we get through 3 verses. And it's like, well. Yeah. So who gives a shit?
Right.
To close out the half, do you have an idea for an improv scene from anything we talked about that you think would be fun to do? I have a couple ideas, but if you want to do one.
Yeah. Maybe something with your grandma. So if you want to play a grandma who, is feeling kind of saucy today. Is feeling a little bit.
Okay, yeah.
And I'll go ahead and be a grandson who's around.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Almost ready.
I just want to watch TV.
You look through the little window. The turtles will rise. The Rolos will sink, and the pecans will sink into them.
The pecans?
The pecans.
The pecans.
Oh, I'm sorry. I've had a little white wine. Look, it's melting.
Grandma, I'm so tired. If this one's snaps shut on my nose again, I'm going to be so angry at you.
What, the oven? Or your literal... Yeah, we're melting caramels under real turtles. These ones are not snapping, though.
This is what I'm saying,
the guy at the pond said they don't snap.
Grandma, you're so drunk.
What are you talking about? I did a deal with the guy at the pond. He brought him fresh from the pond. I saw him get him. He said they don't snap.
Grandma.
Cowboys fucking blew it in the playoffs again. It's just like clockwork. What's the point of the regular season?
Grandma, I don't tell my mom how much you drink, but you gotta let me watch TV instead. That's the deal.
Is this blackmail? Because I'll tell her right now.
No,
That's how you get rid of blackmail. You just own up to it before.
No, because if you admit it, then everyone's going to know that you did it.
I'm just telling your mother.
Hello?
Hey, how you doing?
Hi, Mom, what's up?
Blasting,
everything okay?
Blasting white wine. Your little rat son was going to rat on me for just getting blasted. We're getting blasted. You know I can handle getting blasted. So that's what's going on. Making turtles. It's all good. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's so nice to hear from you.
Click.
No,
you see that?
No.
You see that? How hard was that?
Okay.
Fire McCarthy. Fire Mike McCarthy today.
No,
what is the
his
point?
record is honestly at a certain point. You got all these coaches, and they're all doing the exact same thing. At a certain point, it's on Jerry Jones. It's clearly a personnel issue. It's not a coaching issue.
Give me a switch.
It's just
give me a stick. I'm gonna whip your ass with it for talking shit about Jerry Jones.
Too bad. I'm getting you a Nintendo Switch.
I hate video games. We'll be right back.